All right, everyone, welcome into a very special interview we're doing here, and we have in the Gatorade Player of the Year, Miss Ace Austin. How are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing good. This last couple of years has been a whirlwind for you. You've won 3 state championships in just over less than 2 calendar years here, which has been phenomenal. We've heard your testimony on our channel as well, which is the most important thing. You recently was named Gatorade Player of the Year, won another state and finals MVP. When do you got time to be Ace Austin? When do you get to break away and get to go be Ace Austin and hang out with friends and do stuff away from this?
I would say the moment I step into school every day. I know students have came up to me and asked and just said that people ask them, that's like, do y'all look at Ace the same way we look at Ace? And that's coming from an outsider at the school. And they're like, we look at Ace as, our best friend and, just a student who sits in class every day. And they're like, really? And they're just like, yeah. And I mean, every day at school I get to, be with my friends. And I think everybody in my class, we're all so close. So that's when I get to, be myself. And every day after school, I can go out, hang out with my friends. So I get to really be who I am at that time.
Getting to know the community out here, your dad and mom, obviously, the other coaches, the players out here, the parents out here, it's a very special place. And I've told this to your dad before, the only other place, and this is no shot at any other school that I can compare this to, is like Fife and what they do in football there. Right. It's just like nothing's getting inside that circle. It's a special place. Can you talk about what it's like being inside that circle and being a big part of that piece of the pie, so to speak?
Yeah, our Spring Garden is a community that's always been tight, and we're like one of them communities that if there's an outsider trying to bust our bubble, trying to interfere with how we connect with each other, we're not going to let that happen. We're all so close, and we all fight for each other. And even people who have graduated years and years ago, they have kids here at our school now, and they're going to keep building this community. And, they always support you. They're always going to be there for you. Motivating you, keeping you confident, making you have confidence. And I think that's very important. And I don't think there's any other better community there could be.
So coming up in this time frame, in this, I call honestly, it's a dynasty of what you guys have done here athletically, but coming up in that, and then your dad and mom being such a big part of it, and your brothers as well, what's that been like? Because now not only is it Spring Garden, now it is your family, your home that you grew up in is another big part of that. Yeah,
it is. It's been it's a really big part. And growing up, just with my parents, with my brothers, and I just remember growing up, always asking my dad, when can I play? Just seeing other players. And my brothers, I've seen them put in a lot of hard work on the floor. And I think me growing up, that made me realize, okay, I gotta live to that standard. And I would come up to the gym, just to shoot with them, and I couldn't compete with them at the time. Even in the backyard, I couldn't compete with them, but I would do the best I can. And our family, we're all there for each other, and we're gonna push each other. And my brothers, we just won the state championship in basketball, and they're like, all right, we're gonna make you the best shooter in Alabama. So they're one of them brothers. They're gonna push you to be the best you can, and I'm thankful I have the family like that.
Yeah, no days off.
Right.
So you do so much outside work that you do outside of what's required of you, which I think what makes you great and others across the state. But you do it because you love it. It's not because your dad and your mom's not sitting there saying, hey, Ace, you need to go do this. They're not having to get you off social media or get you off the PlayStation. What is it about the love for each game? It's not just basketball, volleyball as well.
Yeah.
What is it about it that drives you?
I'm a competitive person. I always have been, and my cousins, and they've made me competitive. And I think that's what drove me since I was little. And I want to win, and I want to win in any type of category it is. And I think that's what helps motivate me to who I am today. And you know, my brothers, I know I bring up my brothers a lot, and they've taught me so much, and we went at it in the backyard every day. We would be out there till 12 o'clock at night when we was little.
They make you come in.
Right. And, you know, they would send me in the house crying sometimes, and my parents would say, don't go back out there if you're going to keep crying. So I was like, you know, they have made me tough, and still to this day, you know, before AAU season starts, before I committed, and they don't force me to do it. They know I love it, and They ask me, they're like, are you sure you still want to do this? I mean, this isn't their decision, and they know that, and they just want me to be happy.
That's right. When you see Christy Curry at a volleyball event or a regular season game like this year, and then she brings the team to watch you, I personally don't have any doubt in my mind you committed to the right place in the University of Alabama. But what does that make you feel like? That's somebody that cares.
Right. And that right there just showed me that it was by far the closest choice to Spring Garden, Alabama I could get. And it shows that they're a community, they're a family, and that's how we are.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're all there for each other, and they are too. They support us, and I mean, it means a lot, and I can't put it into words how much it means to me to see her show up to a volleyball match, and that's not even the sport I'm going to them for. So, I mean, they drove an hour, you know, they drive far to watch, and it really shows that they're going to stick there for me and always be there for me through the ups and downs.
She was phenomenal. She's been at all these events. I've seen her at these events, and we've been covering them. I'm fortunate enough to get to have a relationship with her. Yeah. Very good. How much of a relief is it to get that behind you now that you don't have to answer the phone calls and answer the texts, and you don't feel like you know being rude or whatever?
Yeah, it's a big relief, and I remember.
It's beautiful.
I remember, you know, the moments before I decided I wanted to commit. There was many nights I got there, no sleep.
Gotcha.
I just had coaches from all over calling me 10:30 at night. It was nonstop, and then I just knew. Why am I wasting their time if I know where my heart really wants me to go?
That's right.
And so I remember when I made that call to them, I brought them all in a group FaceTime, and I was like, I think it's time to say Roll Tide, you know, to them. And they were so excited, and that was the biggest relief I think I've had. And I think that's what helped me this year in basketball. I didn't have to worry about to, you know, perform for other coaches. You know, I know that Alabama's coaches are always going to be there for me, and it was just a relief to let me settle in for this year.
That's a beautiful thing right there.
Yes.
Because some people relish in that and like having their name thrown out there and saturated, and it fuels them. But other players like you, that's not your goal driven. That don't matter to you. You want to do what's right for your family and Ace. So that's I love that. It's beautiful. You was recently named Max Prep Player of the Year, Gatorade Player of the Year, MVP of the Final Four, and again, I think you would be the first person to say you couldn't do any of this without your teammates and your coaches. Talk about that a little bit.
Yes. No matter, you know, what awards I bring in, I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to say a single thing about the awards I get, because without my teammates, none of this would be possible.
That's true.
And they push me every day, no matter who I am. They're going to push me and make me go as hard as I can, or if I can go even harder.
That's right.
And I think to get to that level, you have to have teammates that are like that.
Yep,
and,
I agree.
You know, we're all there for each other. We've all been through the ups and downs together. We've had rough days and we've had good days. And I think with a team and family like that, you're able to get really far.
I'm going to ask you about a particular game I loved watching just from a fan of basketball standpoint, and it was the Skyline game in the Elite Eight, I believe it was.
Yes.
And to see how that game transpired is like nothing could go right. You guys were struggling, and then, you know, it was just fun to watch. And Coach said it best in the post-game interview. He said, hey, I come in with a stack of notes. The guy didn't run anything I said, but that's what we did. We adapted. We had to play through it. How fun was that game for you? Because I know you want to get challenged. You want to challenge. You want to be losing or tied at halftime or something. Talk about that game a little bit and how you guys stepped up and took control of it late.
that was, I think a lot of us could say that was probably one of the funnest games we've played because we don't like blowouts.
That's right.
I mean, most people would want to prefer blowouts. We like to be, to compete. We want it to be competitive. And, to see them, they had a great game plan. They came in here with everything they had, all seniors stepped on the floor. And we knew coming into this game they were going to bring everything they had. This was going to be the best game they've ever played. And we knew that. And it really did feel like, nothing could go right for us. And,
First half,
but before the game, he came in there and he said, I don't care how this game looks as long as we win. And I think that stuck with us, and we was like, just keep pushing, you'll get through it. And you see all these motivational things, and it's just rocky roads, and then they finally get over the hump. And I think that's what that game was kind of like.
Yep.
And once we finally got to halftime, I think it was relieved. We finally got to halftime, and I knew if we could get to halftime, we would finally settle to who we were.
And it is like a different tune in the second half. And you guys were there defensively in the first half. It's just like you couldn't get nothing to fall. And Maggie, there for a stretch, Maggie was kind of playing really, really well. And it was a really fun game to watch. And then when you guys here's the next question. I got a couple more questions. I'll let you get out of here because I'm sure you got work to do as usual.
You're good.
But you get over there into the Final Four. How do you and the guys, or girls in this case, bring it back down and say, hey, okay, because everybody in the news media everywhere is like, that was the state championship game. Well, it's not the state championship game. Everybody said that. It's 1 versus 2. But how do you guys come back in as a collective, refocus, and go down there and handle business like you did in the Final Four?
I think is what helps us do that is realize that it don't matter what ranking you are. Anything is possible at state. I mean, we've had teams go down there and have 4 points at halftime, and and I'm not sure what year it was, but they was probably the best team. We could have been the best team, in the state, and they had 4 points at halftime. So that kind of just shows you that anything's possible at state, whether you're playing lights out or not.
Correct.
I mean, other teams that come down there for the first time, they could have, they could be so excited and energized that they're going to play lights out. So. They've told us stories from, how that happens, and I think that's really settled into us to just stay on our track.
I got to cover 76 games in the 2 weeks and seen basketball from all facets, and you're exactly right. Because I've seen some teams I thought there's no way these guys are losing. Not only did they lose, they got killed.
Right.
And I mean, they didn't hardly score, and I'm sitting here like, wow. So but what you just said is exactly right. Okay, now you're about to head, I'm going to ask you 2 more questions, we'll get you out of here. You're about to head into the all-important AAU with the Southern Stars and Doug Bush. Very important season for you as well. I mean, that's what you love to do. You love to go compete at the highest level and play against the best and play with the best. What's your mindset coming into that, and have you got time to rest and focus up for AAU?
I do. We actually have basketball practice this weekend, but we're staying in a lake house together in Guntersville. So I think, team bonding as well, and, AAU is hard. And I mean, you're playing against players that are committing to South Carolina, UConn, Texas, and so you got to be there for each other. And it's hard because it's kind of new people, so it's not like it is at high school. High school, you've been there for each other since you've grown up. You got to connect with each other quick and fast and be able to learn to be there for each other. And, there's hard games, and, I mean, there's no easy games there. And we do find time to rest and work hard. And, we don't have many practices. We don't have time to have practices. But the practices we do work hard, get a lot of accomplished. But that leaves us, time to do our own stuff to help provide for our team. But I mean,
that's good.
Thankful for Doug and what he's done for our program, and he does a lot. And I think he has like 5 teams coming to Guntersville this weekend, and he got us all lake houses too. So I think that just shows what type of person he is.
He's a good dude.
Oh yeah.
I like he comes and supports you guys at the playoffs as well. Final question is, before I get you out of here, and we'll have you on for more interviews, God willing, throughout your career here at Spring Garden, and
Yes, sir.
hopefully on it. But what would you like to say to these fans, these family, all these people over the years that have really poured into you and supported you, and you've obviously shown them love back? What would you like to say to all those people?
I would like to say just thank you for supporting Spring Garden basketball and girls basketball, because girls basketball hasn't always been where it is now, and I know y'all want to see girls basketball grow, and thank you for supporting me and the Spring Garden team. And everybody says kind words to us, and y'all really help us, and just the little words of saying you're a great player. I mean, knowing from hearing girls on our team saying that they said that about me, it really does mean a lot to everybody. So just thanks for all y'all do.
Well, you heard it from Ace Austin herself. She really appreciates everything you guys do. And Ace, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to sit down with us for just at least a little bit, because we get asked all the time, can you get her to talk, or can you get an autograph, or this, that, and other. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this interview, and there's a couple people wanting some autograph stuff. I'll get to you soon. Thank you so much, Ace. Appreciate you, and we'll have this video up very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching.